In this school, there's no education, only war. Friendship turns into betrayal, and enemies turn deadly. And when the entire system runs on lies, one small study group stands up for the truth. Gamin and his friends fight teachers, gangs, even the police. Their rule is simple. We don't fear, we break those who try. They're not just students, they're fighters. This is study group. The story begins in a classroom. The teacher is doing their best to explain the lesson, but the students couldn't care less. Someone is peeking through the window, another is sleeping on a bench, and some are goofing off. Only one boy is trying to concentrate. Gamin. At first glance, his face suggests he must be the class topper, but the truth is the exact opposite. In the whole school ranking, he was second to last. Since childhood, he had dreamed of getting good marks, making his parents proud, and finding a decent job. But luck never favored him. He joined every famous academy, hired private tutors, yet the results were always zero. One day he overheard other students talking. Want good grades? Go to Yusung Technical High School. Gamin only heard half the sentence and immediately enrolled. He thought everyone there would study hard, but his illusion was shattered on the very first day. As soon as he opened the classroom door, there were no books inside. It was a full-blown brawl. Desks were overturned. Students were kicking and punching each other. No one cared about studies. Gamin thought, fine, I'll get ahead of them. If I study 2 or 3 chapters, I'll become the topper. But when the test came, he ranked 219 out of 220. Still, he didn't give up. He reasoned that among these ruffians there must be at least one who actually wanted to study. So he kept studying their faces, trying to guess. Every face looked like someone who would run away at the mere mention of studying. There was, however, one boy, Cian. He sat quietly, kept out of trouble, and made no noise. Gamin went up to him and asked, "Hey, will you study with me?" Before Cian could reply, another student shoved him and shouted, "Come on, fight. I need to raise my rank." This school's real system wasn't education, it was fighting. There was a mobile app. The more you beat someone, the higher your rank. The entire school had turned into a boxing ring. A student ranked 173 challenges Cian, who is at 170. In front of the whole class, they mercilessly beat him. The crowd chants, "Rank up! Rank up!" Cian falls, and the other boy's ranking rises to 170. Gamin couldn't tell whether this place was a school or a prison camp. He helped Cian to his feet. Just then the teacher entered the classroom with a cane and announced that from now on they would have a new teacher, Miss Lee. Gamin's mind went blank. Miss Lee was the same woman who had once been his private tutor. Attendance began. A student stood up and shouted not present, but fighting. The whole class laughed. Suddenly an object flew rapidly toward Miss Lee, thrown by the classroom's most dangerous boy, Yianwu. He shouted, "Who made that noise and ruined my sleep?" A frightened student timidly raised his hand. Yianwu slapped him hard. Another student yelled at the boy, "You spilled my coffee, now watch." The fight started again. Students began placing bets. 5,001 on Yianwu, 10,001 on the other guy. Miss Lee's first day, and the whole class turned into a battlefield. She shouted, "Everyone sit down," but no one listened, until Yianwu himself said, "Sit." At his one command, the entire class fell silent. Miss Lee found cigarette butts in the trash and was shocked. Every corner of the school had become a smoking zone. No one feared the teachers, the school, or the rules anymore. Gamin approached Miss Lee. She recognized him. "You've grown a lot," Gamin says. "Ma'am, if you teach here, you won't last long." The last teacher ran away. Miss Lee smiles. "Don't worry about me." "Are you studying?" Gamin replies, "I want to form a study group." After that, he goes after Cian again. Cian sleeps in the library. Gamin keeps pestering him. "Just study with me once." Annoyed, Cian finally says, "Fine, just once." But when Gamin tries to explain a simple math problem, it becomes clear. Gamin is a complete zero at studying. He's been writing notes that the math teacher never said. Something else entirely. Cian, surprised, snaps, "Are you crazy? This has nothing to do with the question." Then he asks, "Why do you want to work so hard?" Gamin answers, "I want good grades. And I know you want to study too." He studies Cian's eyes, fingers and habits and says, "Your eyes show you'll study. Come on, let's form a study group." Cian, furious, rips up his result sheet. "I don't want to study." Ceremony follows. The vice principal awards Han as the school's best student. But he isn't really the best student. He's the #1 fighter, the son of the Yunbek gang's chairman. He made the ranking app and drove the whole school crazy for fights. In the bathroom, Cian collides with Han. Han beats him badly and says, "Bring 200,000 won tomorrow." Cian has no money. Meanwhile, Miss Lee tries to remove the smoking drums. The vice principal says, "I couldn't quit smoking in 40 years. What will these kids do?" Miss Lee lifts the drums alone. Then she sees Han mercilessly beating Cian. The teachers run for help, but they flee in fear. Where the teachers run, Gammon stops. He puts on a mask, grabs a fire extinguisher, sprays it, and pulls Cian out. The two hide in a corner. Cian cries, "Why did you help me? If I had stayed quiet and taken it, it would have been over. Now he'll beat me every day." Gammon says, "I want to study too, but studying in this school feels like death." Yinwu returns with a baseball bat and keeps beating Cian. Gammon breaks the bat with a kick. It turns out Gammon has trained since childhood in strong body, strong mind. Daily push-ups, kicks, workouts, but his grades still never improved. This time, Gammon knocks Han out with a single punch. "Don't be afraid of bullying. Join the study group," Gammon says. Cian replies, "You're scared inside too, that's why you wear the mask." "I won't join." Then he goes home. Cian's house is full of poverty. Just him and his father. His father says, "Studying is useless. Even college graduates wander jobless. Quit studying, learn a trade." Broken, Cian screams, "Stop it. I'll quit studying." His father angrily replies, "Don't be disrespectful in front of me." Cian storms out without eating. Sitting on a bench outside, he notices the math notebook he had thrown in the trash. He does want to study, but his life and circumstances make it feel like a dream. On the other hand, Gammon also wants to study, but no one ever agrees to join his study group. Since childhood, people told his mother, "Our child joined a study group. Gammon should join too." Whenever Gammon approaches a group, they reject him. He ends up alone and cries at home. His mother says, "If you aren't good at studying, it's okay." But Gammon has a stubbornness inside him. No matter what, he will become strong in his studies. The next morning, Miss Lee wakes up unwillingly. She doesn't want to go to school, but duty calls and she goes. At the school, she finds the same filthy steel drums and boys smoking happily. Then the discipline chief arrives with a baton. "Get out of here." He chases the kids away and tells Miss Lee, "Remove these drums, school inspectors are roaming around." Poor Miss Lee begins to drag them herself. At that moment, a boy helps. His name is Park Gun. He says, "It'd be good if an inspector sees. Then people will know how the school really is." Miss Lee replies, "I wish that too, but this is our school, we must change it ourselves." Park says, "You can't do this alone." Miss Lee smiles and replies, "I can at least try." Meanwhile, when Gammon enters the classroom, he finds a math notebook on his desk. It's Cian's. He realizes Cian must have taken it out of the trash and placed it there for him. Gammon is just about to thank him when suddenly his desk shakes violently. Yinwu has slammed his palm on it. "I know it was you yesterday, the one wearing the mask." Yinwu snatches the notebook. Just as Gammon tries to take it back, the inspector and vice principal arrive for inspection. The inspector looks at Miss Lee and asks, "Have we met before?" The vice principal quickly answers, "No, sir. She just joined yesterday." Suddenly, an axe flies out of a broken window and falls outside. Miss Lee rushes toward the classroom. Inside, Yinwu has set the notebook on fire and is attacking Gammon with the axe. But Gammon turns out to be an incredible fighter. With one powerful punch, he knocks the axe out of Yinwu's hands. It flies across the room, smashes through the window, and falls outside. The whole class is speechless. Park Gun watches silently. Even Cian is watching from the corner. The notebook is completely burned. Furious, Gammon grabs Yinwu and says, "Apologize to Cian." Yinwu attacks again. This time Gammon slams him to the floor. Yinwu hurls a burning backpack at him, but Gammon kicks it back. It hits Yinwu in the face and knocks him unconscious. Standing over him, Gammon shouts, "Before you die, apologize to Cian." For the first time, Cian feels someone genuinely cares for him. He walks to Gammon. Gammon says, "Sorry, I couldn't save your notebook." He throws the burned notebook into the trash, and Cian notices that Gammon's hand is burned. That moment, Cian says, "I'll join your study group." Gammon can barely contain his happiness. Miss Lee rushes in and puts out the fire. The inspector understands Gammon was behind everything and decides he should be punished. Later, Gammon sits alone in a room. Cian brings him his glasses. Gammon says, "Leave. You'll get punished too." Cian replies, "Thank you for fighting for me." Then the inspector and vice principal enter. The vice principal orders, "Expel this boy." Miss Lee steps forward and says, "It's not the student's fault, it's the system. We fear inspectors. But what about the 600 students who suffer every day?" The inspector falls silent. Then he says, "You haven't changed, Miss Lee. You topped the teacher's exam, yet you never registered." Everyone is shocked. Miss Lee lowers her eyes in embarrassment. The inspector asks, "How will you make this school better?" Miss Lee has no plan, so she tells him about Gammon's study group idea, that education can change the school. The vice principal laughs, but the inspector likes the idea and refuses to expel Gammon. The next morning, Gammon is up early, training again. He has been training secretly for years. On the way to school, Cian meets him. Gammon tells him the study group might get official approval, but the vice principal threatens Miss Lee. "If the study group fails, your contract ends." Miss Lee agrees. The rule: in 2 weeks they must have 5 members. Right now they only have 2, Gammon and Cian. They put up posters. They wait in the library. Students look, but no one joins. Phone call comes. Gammon gets excited, but instead of joining, the caller asks, "There's a girl I like. Can you give me tips?" Gammon hangs up, heartbroken. Then an angry student storms into the library. Gammon assumes he's the 3rd member, but the boy came to take revenge for Yinwu. Gammon searches for forms while the boy attacks. Accidentally, a locker door swings open and hits him in the face, knocking him unconscious. The rumor spreads. Gammon is a monster fighter. He knocked out the student ranked number 3. Students start fearing him. Wherever he goes, they run away. Then they see Park. Gammon gently asks, "Join the study group?" Park laughs and says, "You're either very confident, or you just don't care whether anyone comes with you or not." Later that evening, Gammon and Cian sit in a park, both wondering how much a person can endure in life. Suddenly, Miss Lee remembers. Han, the boy Gammon knocked out, hasn't come to school since that day. She calls him, but his phone stays unreachable. She gets his address and goes there, but the place is empty. Meanwhile, Cian tells Gammon not to stress over the study group. He suggests Gammon join an academy or online tutoring. Gammon says he tried everything and nothing helped. Cian tells him to join sports. He's great at fighting, but Gammon says he only loves studying. To lift their mood, Miss Lee takes them to a stationery shop. Gammon becomes like a little kid, excited over pens and notebooks. His eyes sparkle. He secretly buys a red notebook without telling anyone. Later, while eating ice cream, they ask Miss Lee why, if she was a topper, she chose Yosung High School. She could have taught anywhere. Miss Lee looks sad and says something happened in her life, and she simply forgot to register. That night, when she returns home, she realizes the red notebook is still in her bag, the one Gammon bought. She tries calling him, but stops when she notices her front door lock is broken. She walks inside shocked. Yinwu and several boys are inside her house. They came to kill her on Han's orders. Angry, Miss Lee says, "Get out before I call the police." Yinwu replies coldly, "If I return without finishing the job, Han will kill me instead." Meanwhile, Gammon notices several missed calls from Miss Lee and calls her back. But Yinwu doesn't let her answer. He picks up a metal rod and moves toward her, ready to strike. Suddenly the lights go out. Out of the darkness, someone appears, saving Miss Lee. He beats down the boys and takes her toward the elevator. Miss Lee recognizes him. It's Park, the same boy who once helped her before. Down in the parking lot, more boys arrive. Miss Lee tells them not to fight, but someone hits her from behind, knocking her unconscious. That's when Park loses control. His anger explodes. His fighting skills are at a professional level. At the same time, Gammon has already left home. He keeps calling Miss Lee but no one answers. On his way, he sees some boys running and shouting, "We found him!" Gammon immediately senses something is wrong. Back in the parking lot, Park is taking down everyone. Then Yin-woo suddenly remembers. Park is the same boy whose mother was murdered in public, and who was stabbed in the stomach that day. Yin-woo starts punching him in the same spot. The pain drops Park to his knees, and all of them start beating him together. Miss Lee regains consciousness and screams, begging them to stop. Yin-woo walks toward her, about to hit her too, but just then Gammon arrives. He grabs Yin-woo and smashes him against the wall. Then he goes after the rest of the boys. There are too many attackers, but Gammon turns into a fighting machine. He pulls a chain from one boy's hand and spins it like a nunchaku. His moves are so fast and precise, it's like watching a martial arts master. Alone, he destroys the entire gang. At home, Gammon's mother enters his room and finds his schedule. It says, nunchaku training. She's shocked. Back in the parking lot, Gammon finishes everyone off. The boys run away in fear. Yin-woo tries to hit him with a glass bottle, but Park pushes him aside and grabs him by the collar. "Tell me," Park shouts, "what do you know about my mother's murder?" He's so furious that he's about to kill Yin-woo, but Gammon stops him. Yin-woo escapes and Park, too injured to chase him, collapses. Broken, Park says, "I thought I'd finally learn the truth today, but justice doesn't exist in this world." He looks at Miss Lee and adds, "You remind me of my mother. That's why I can't see you in pain." Then he walks away. Miss Lee gives Gammon back his red book, the Bruce Lee martial arts manual. She returns to her room, trembling. As she's about to call the police, the doorbell rings. When she opens the door, one of the boys from earlier is standing there, crying. He says, "Please forgive me. If I had refused, he would have killed me." He tells her that everything was done on Han's orders. Miss Lee promises she won't call the police, but she wants information in return. Meanwhile, Gammon and Seon wait for a new member. They enter a classroom full of girls, and meet Jae-woo, the same girl who signed the study group form. But Seon says, "Don't take her, she's Yin-woo's sister." Just then, some bully girls start beating up Jae-woo's friend, Won. Jae-woo steps in shouting, "Hit me all you want, but don't touch her." The bullies shove Jae-woo to the floor and throw chewing gum on their study notes. That's when Gammon steps in. He stops the bullies and picks up Jae-woo's torn study plan. At that moment, a boy named Jean walks in. He's a member of the disciplinary committee and says, "Jae-woo's my girlfriend. What are you doing with her?" Seon steps forward and stops Jean. Later, they discover that Jean has been blackmailing Jae-woo. He has a video showing Yin-woo stealing money, and that's how Jean controls Jae-woo. One says, "If you can delete that video, I'll join your study group." Gammon instantly agrees, and Seon nods too. They find Jin's USB in the disciplinary committee room. It has the same video. But before they can check it, Jean shows up and starts beating everyone. Gammon hides inside a cupboard, listening quietly. Jean reveals, "I didn't give Yin-woo that loan from my own money. It was his own money. And the idea to record the video wasn't mine. It was Han's plan. He's a genius." Hearing this, Gammon comes out and thrashes everyone. Meanwhile, Miss Lee confronts Han. She says, "I know everything. You manipulated Yin-woo. You made him violent. Let him go." Han smirks and says, "You think you're different. You're just like the rest." Miss Lee loses her temper, but Han threatens her coldly. Back in the room, Gammon is caught in a brutal fight. He gets beaten at first, but smartly grabs the USB and hides it. Then he unleashes his strength. Jean can't even stand against him. Gammon knocks him down and is about to leave when two more committee members arrive. Gammon pulls them inside, and the fight turns into a 3-on-1 battle. Outside, Seon and Won watch helplessly. Seon gets an idea. "Let's fake a fight. I'll yell at you, we'll pretend to argue. When the committee interferes, Gammon can escape." But Won hesitates. "I've never shouted at anyone before. I can't do it." Meanwhile, Jae-woo also reaches there. Inside, Gammon keeps fighting fiercely. In the chaos, the USB falls to the ground. He grabs it, but the boys try to snatch it back. Suddenly, Jean laughs and says, "That video? I already copied it to the computer." Then he starts uploading it online. Gammon becomes even more furious, breaking free and trying to stop him. Jaiwoo realizes everything and runs toward the room. But before she arrives, Gammon lifts the entire CPU and runs off, literally carrying it on his shoulder. He slips, and the CPU slides across the floor straight to Seon. Gammon yells, "The video's in this CPU. Run!" Seon picks it up and rushes to the rooftop. Jean follows him there. Without thinking, Seon throws the CPU off the roof, destroying the video completely. Jean lunges at him in rage, but Jaiwoo reaches just in time. She grabs Jean, slams him to the ground and says, "The video didn't upload. You can't blackmail me anymore." She throws him down again. Jean is finished. Meanwhile, Han goes to Miss Lee and says, "You're proud of your students, aren't you? Soon you'll regret it." The scene shifts. Yeonwoo is walking toward the school. The disciplinary chief has captured Gammon again. The USB falls. One tries to pick it up, but a bully girl grabs it first. She finds out that Jean was the one bullying Jaiwoo all along. The bully tries to walk away, but this time, One gathers all her courage and shouts at her. The bully attacks, but One pushes her back and snatches the USB. Jaiwoo arrives and praises her. "You're strong. You always had courage inside you." Meanwhile, Jean is being carried away, badly beaten. That's when Yeonwoo shows up. Han has already told him the full truth. That night, Jean was the one in the mask who attacked him, stole his money, then lent it back to him as a fake loan, and blackmailed his sister with that same video. Blinded by rage, Yeonwoo stabs Jean with a knife, but Miss Lee jumps in between. The knife hits her instead. She didn't do it to save Jean. She did it to save Yeonwoo, because if Jean died, Yeonwoo's life would be ruined forever. Yeonwoo breaks down crying. Miss Lee says weakly, "Don't give up. I'll help you." Then she collapses. She's rushed to the hospital. Surgery begins. Later, Jaiwoo visits her, where Gammon, Seon, and One are already waiting. Jaiwoo tells them she handed Yeonwoo over to the police herself. Miss Lee looks at her students and says, "You're joining our study group too, right?" One says, "I am too, and I'm not transferring schools anymore." Now the study group is in full swing. All four of them sit together in the library. On the chart, one spot is still empty, the fifth member. Seon mentions that Han has been arrested and might be sent to a detention facility. Suddenly, something crashes through the window, and a voice from outside shouts, "Gammon, come out." The boy was the number one fighter of 11th grade. Since Jean was also in 11th grade, and Gammon had beaten him so badly, Gammon's reputation had spread through the entire school like a monster. Now the top fighter wanted to challenge him. He also brought a boy named Jay, who wanted to join the study group. But the top fighter made fun of him right there. Gammon didn't waste time. He jumped straight down from the building. One punch. The guy was finished. Jay was impressed, smiling in excitement. Then his flashback begins. Since childhood, Jay had always been weak. Everyone beat him up. Jay also came to Yusung Technical High hoping to become strong. But no matter how hard he trained, he could never go above rank 17. Then he saw Gammon fight, and decided to join the study group. But Gammon refused. "This group is for studying, not for raising ranks." Jay said, "Fine, I'll study too." Gammon gave him a test, and Jay started solving the questions. At that moment, a YB gang member entered the library asking, "Who is Gammon?" To protect Gammon, Jay claimed, "I'm Gammon." They dragged him away. Park saw everything. They took Jay to an empty factory area. His test was simple. If you reach that car and bring the key, you pass. Otherwise, you get slaughtered. 3 fighters blocked his way. Jay got beaten badly. Then the gangster realized he wasn't the real Gammon, and started hitting him even harder. Right then, Gammon, Jaiwoo, and Park arrived. He has Jin's test result in his hand. He says, "You passed the test to join the study group." The gang member recognizes him immediately and understands that this is the glasses boy Gammon. He challenges Gammon. "If you can save your friend from me, you pass." On the other side, the same detective is talking to his colleague. He says, "Who was that boy Han?" The moment he entered the station, he disappeared so casually, and he even knew who I was while I'm newly transferred here. His senior replies, "Don't think too much. Whatever is happening, let it happen." Downstairs, he sees two high school students, Sihyun and Won, who have come to tell the police everything to save the others. Meanwhile, Gamin, Ju-woo, and Park start fighting the gang members. Park and Ju-woo defeat them easily. Gamin uses a piece of paper as a weapon, knocks a guy down, snatches his knife, and keeps helping Park and Ju-woo. Then he faces the strongest man of the gang. That man dodges Gamin's attacks and starts beating him instead. At that moment, Gamin enters full fighting mode. He uses a special technique his master taught him, a technique his master told him to use only in very critical moments. Gamin brutally beats that man, slams him into the wall, and finishes him. Park and Ju-woo are shocked watching this. Park goes to question the man about his mother's murder case. Suddenly, a car speeds towards Gamin, but Jae jumps up at the right moment and saves him. Han's partner, Hwan, steps out of the car. He says, "Hey Gamin, you're interesting. Want to join our gang? You could get a manager's position." Gamin refuses. "I'm going to college with my friends." Hwan laughs at them. Then he notices Park. He clearly knows something about Park's mother's murder case. Realizing Park might find out the truth, Hwan runs away, and Park chases after him. At that moment, Sihyun and Won arrive with the police, and all the gang members are arrested. The detective says, "Even the police station isn't in good condition. There's corruption everywhere. I can't promise anything. But if something like this happens again, here's my card. Call me immediately." He leaves. Gamin rushes home and tells his mother on the phone, "I'm coming." His mother had put a curfew on him. He has to reach home before 10 p.m., but lately he keeps breaking the rules and she is getting angry. The detective later informs Miss Lee that, with the help of the study group students, they caught some criminals, and from their statements, they might be able to arrest Han as well. Miss Lee is happy to hear this. Meanwhile, Han gives both Miss Lee and Gamin a 4-star danger rating, meaning they are becoming a threat to him. At night, all study group members talk in their chat. Jean also reaches the hospital and recovers. Next morning, Gamin trains early, and then everyone focuses on their study group activities. When the discipline committee tries to punish them for no reason, Miss Lee returns to school and saves them. Everyone is happy to see her. Miss Lee shows the vice principal some papers that have the names of all 5 study group members. She also explains that she didn't file any case against Yunwoo. He was only sent to the detention center, not prison. Then Miss Lee says she wants to call a disciplinary committee meeting against Han. The principal becomes angry. We see a flashback. Last year, another teacher tried to do the same thing. Later, Miss Lee tells Gamin and the others, the study group is now officially recognized as a club. They will get their own personal room. Their first activity will be a study group exchange meeting with students from another school. They dress up in a strange way to go to Seoul. People stare at them, and 2 boys try to mess with them, but Ju-woo and Jun beat them and make them apologize. Miss Lee arrives, but Gamin is still on the bus. They reach the university without him. Miss Lee knows a teacher there who arranges everything. She says, "Message Gamin and tell him to come straight here." They enter the other study group's room. Those students act arrogant and ignore them. Ju-woo says, "Hey, red uniforms, did you hear? They're secretly calling us uneducated." They learn that the other group is also missing one member. Miss Lee says, "It's fine. One of our members is also late. We'll start the meeting later." Everyone sits down. Sihyun and Bon are extremely nervous. Ju-woo and Jun can clearly tell those students are looking down on them. Jun asks, "Where is Gamin? You messaged him, right?" Woo says yes. Then Jun notices Ju-woo made a spelling mistake while typing the school name. Instead of Manal High School, she wrote Monik High School. Ju-woo says, "Maybe a school like that exists too." Because of that mistake, Gamin has gone to the wrong school, and he is heading there right now. Han leaves his old school and shifts to another school in the same city. As soon as he gets there, he beats all the fighters badly and forces them to join his gang. Han's plan was to rule this school as well. He keeps saying, "I will surpass my dad, who is the leader of the YB gang." On the other side, the study group's exchange meeting doesn't go well at all. Ju gets into a rude argument with a girl. During this, they find out that the members of this study group are being bullied. One boy points toward the school in front of them, where their fifth member is being beaten by some goons. The reason was that those goons used to shop using his card, but now his mother had blocked it. The poor boy cries and says, "Please let me go." But the goons say, "Tell your mom to activate the card again." When he refuses, one of them notices someone coming. The study group members also tell them that these goons are so dangerous that no one can report them. The last time someone complained, his father was attacked so badly that he is still in a coma. They tell them that the school's name is Monikai School, and no one knows why it was built right in front of their own school. Hearing this, June and Ju are shocked. Meanwhile, Gammon has already reached Monikai, the school of the goons. He sees the terrible condition of the school: blood on the floor, broken doors, and a terrifying atmosphere. Two boys approach him to fight, but Gammon understands what is going on. Without fear, he starts beating them brutally. Within minutes, all the boys are scattered on the floor. One boy runs to see what happened, and when he comes back, the entire hall is filled with beaten students. Gammon throws him down too, picks up a student's glasses and returns them to him. Just then, Cian and the others call him and say, "You went to the wrong school. You were supposed to enter Moniel High School, not Monikai." While the call is still on, the most powerful fighter of Monikai appears in front of Gammon. On the phone, everyone can only hear sounds, punches and loud hits. They say, "Poor Gammon, he's done for." But moments later, Gammon beats that fighter too. He picks up the injured boy and then reaches Moniel High to finally start the exchange activity. There, they learn a lot from the other study group. While leaving, the same girl who was rude to Ju apologizes, and the boy Gammon saved also takes him aside to thank him. He says, "When we were kids, I didn't include you in my study group. I'm sorry." Gammon remembers it was the same boy. Now the boy praises him. Then everyone returns to their own school. They finally get a separate room, but it is full of dust, trash, and cold wind. Gammon makes everyone work together and they clean it up. Slowly, the room becomes a proper study space. Miss Lee secretly watches them, smiles, and leaves. Then Miss Lee goes to a teacher and says, "I want a committee meeting against Han. I can change this school." The teacher refuses. He says, "This is too risky. First I will test you. Only then I'll decide whether you're capable or not." Meanwhile, as soon as the room is ready, a boy walks in and starts insulting them. Gammon gets angry and prepares to punch him, but Cian stops him. He says, "If you fight him, it will reach the vice principal. He's number 1 in the entire 10th grade. His name is Haman." Haman insults Cian too. "Hey, poor boy. You have so much free time. Instead of roaming with these idiots, go work and earn money." Cian stays quiet. Miss Lee walks in, so Haman leaves. Gammon asks Cian, "How much time is left for midterms? I'll defeat him in grades." Everyone is shocked to hear that. Miss Lee shows the 10th grade results. In the rank list, Ju Woo is first, and out of 220 students, Gammon is 219. But the biggest shock comes when they learn that Sihyun holds the second position. Ju, Jun, and Won are surprised. Miss Lee says, "There are 20 days left until midterm exams. If you do exactly what I say, your grades can improve." Everyone agrees. When the group leaves school, Jun says, "I overheard Miss Lee and that senior teacher. He said that if our grades improve, only then he will support Miss Lee in catching Han." Everyone becomes serious because now passing isn't enough. They must improve the rank list, and Sihyun has to become number 1. At that moment, Sihyun receives a message. He says, "I have to go for work." Sihyun reaches the construction site late, and the site manager scolds him and fires him. Here a flashback is shown. When Sihyun was young, he was very good at studies. One day he came home with full marks, but his parents were fighting. For the first time he felt broken inside. From then on, a boy named Haman started bullying him. On the road, Won walks with Sihyun. She says, "You helped me that day. You were the one who went with me to the police station. If you weren't there, I couldn't have done anything alone." Sihyun says, "I didn't do anything special. The real work was done by Gammon. He saved Jean, then saved the boy from the other school. He's like a superhero." One says, "You're not that bad either. In front of the discipline committee you threw that computer right into their faces. That takes a lot of courage." Sihyun smiles faintly. Then Haman and his bully gang arrive. One tries to say something, but a bully girl slaps her. Seeing this, Sihyun loses control. He tries to fight back, but instead gets beaten. That moment Gammon arrives. With one hand he throws Haman away like trash, and when the bully girls start recording with their phones, Gammon kicks their phones into the air. Everyone runs away. But Sihyun is not happy. He says angrily, "We didn't beat them, you beat them." He walks off upset. When he reaches home, Sihyun's stepdad hits him. "If you don't work, how will you pay the debt? Your mother left this debt on us before she died." Sihyun replies angrily, "I never refused to work. I will pay the debt, even if it's not mine. And remember, my mother was your wife too. Not just my mother." He leaves home in anger. A short while later Gammon comes after him. "Come to my house. Friends help each other." Sihyun says, "Friends help each other together. Here it's only you helping. I can't do anything." He walks away. Gammon takes a taxi toward home, but his mood is horrible. He can imagine how Sihyun feels, because he has felt the pain of losing everywhere before. Meanwhile, Sihyun learns that Haman is searching for him again. Sihyun tries to hide, but finally Haman finds him. When Haman starts to attack, a call comes through on Sihyun's phone. On that call, Gammon, standing on a rooftop, watches everything and gives Sihyun live instructions. Sidestep, block, punch. Slowly, Sihyun steadies himself in the fight. But suddenly the phone battery dies. Haman starts beating him again. Gammon runs over, but this time Sihyun doesn't back down. He fights back with all his might and lands a powerful strike to Haman's head, knocking him out. Gammon watches happily. Sihyun, for the first time, feels that he can protect his honor on his own. Scene cuts. On the other side we see Han and Juan. Juan has just assaulted someone with a gun and he says, "This is so much fun." Gammon brings Sihyun to his home. His mother is waiting. "Late again. Phone off too. Tomorrow we'll arrange your school transfer." Sihyun says, "Maybe she said that in anger." Gammon says, "No, whenever she decides something she says it like that. She's serious." Gammon's mother brings transfer forms. "Pick one of these schools. We'll arrange the transfer tomorrow." That night Gammon tells Sihyun that Miss Lee was once his private tutor too. Then he says, "Maybe none of this will matter now." Sihyun asks, "Your mother doesn't care about your grades and there's no money problem. So why do you work so hard?" Gammon stays silent. The truth was, his dad was a very successful man. Since childhood everyone said, Gammon will become a genius like his father. But when he scored 0 in studies, people stopped expecting anything from him. It hurts when no one expects anything from you. Something similar happened to Sihyun. He says, "Yes, I can understand." Next day, Gammon's mom arrives at Yuzeong High School. She had realized that Gammon would waste his time there, so she intends to transfer him to a Seoul school. Sihyun and the others try to stop her so Miss Lee can talk to her. Everyone makes excuses and requests, but Gammon's mom still gets ready to leave. At that moment one suddenly says, "Ma'am, I'm going to become Gammon's child's mother." Hearing this, Gammon is embarrassed and tells his mom, "Okay mom, let's go." They start to leave, but Miss Lee takes a taxi and arrives. Everyone pursues them by car. Miss Lee is driving at full speed. Suddenly a boy on a bike stands in their path and the car stops. More boys arrive. Among them the 11th grade number 1 fighter who came for revenge. Jibu and Jay fight them together. Jay says, "I'll handle this alone, you all follow Gammon." Miss Lee speeds off again. Jay prepares to fight that 11th grade top fighter. He used to lose many times, but after meeting Gammon he trained every morning with him. Gammon taught him a special technique, the dragon kick. Jay goes to use the dragon kick, but the technique is not perfect yet. Meanwhile, everyone reaches Gammon's mother. One says, "Ma'am, I'm not pregnant." That was a lie. "We're just asking you not to transfer Gammon." Gammon's mom is shocked to see how far these kids have come for Gammon. Miss Lee arrives and Gammon's mom recognizes her. Miss Lee says, "I'm Gammon's homeroom teacher, and you once told me to always fight against injustice." She reminds her that their teacher was murdered, and at that funeral Gammon's mom had said those words. Miss Lee tells her about the study group, that Gammon and his friends made it, and that he finally has good friends. Gammon's mom remembers the old days when no one would include Gammon in a study group, and how lonely he felt. Everything was going well, until some dangerous boys arrive. Miss Lee had sent papers to the vice principal requesting an education department inspection to stop Han's hooliganism, but those papers reached Han. Han sent those boys and Juan, armed with guns, to kill Miss Lee. Miss Lee says, "Do what you must later. Something urgent is happening right now." But they don't listen and attack Miss Lee. Gammon moves forward to step in, but before he can, someone is launched into the air. And that kick was delivered by Gammon's mom. Because Gammon's mom is not an ordinary woman. She is the director of the Taekwondo Association. She says, "Whatever happens now, don't tell your parents. I don't like two kids' parents fighting each other." Then Gammon's mom and Miss Lee together start beating those attackers. Gammon tells his mom about Jibu, Sihyun, and Won, who were trying to call the police. Miss Lee calls the detective. Juan points his gun and fires, but misses. He aims again. Gammon's mom runs to save Miss Lee. Gammon grabs the gun and twists it, but glass breaks and falls on Gammon's mom. She falls to the ground covered in blood, and Gammon freezes in shock. Next day, Gammon wakes up early and goes straight to school. Angry and determined, he heads to the rooftop to beat up Han. But Han's 3 bodyguard students catch him. Han arrives, smiling. "It seems you're angry because your mom ended up in the hospital, right?" The vice principal announces that all students must gather in the gym. Han tells his bodyguards, "Beat him so badly that he gets admitted to the hospital right beside his mom." Then he walks away. One of the boys, Kim's son, the strongest among them, says, "We shouldn't attack him together. It would be shameful." 2 boys step back, but Gammon says, "Wait, come together. I'm in a hurry." Last night Park told Gammon that Han sent those attackers. That's why Gammon came for revenge. The fight begins. All 3 are experts in teamwork and beat Gammon badly. Gammon remembers his master's training. Then he stands up, this time in full rage. He defeats all 3 alone using every technique he knows. Kim's son shouts, "Stop! It's not over yet." He charges forward. Gammon jumps into the air and lands a dragon kick. Kim's son drops on the spot. As Gammon walks toward the gym, he sees the study group poster. "If you want to ruin your life, join the study group." Gammon wonders, did my friends suffer because of me? Is my mom in the hospital because of me? But then he says, in this world, studying can never be wrong. He reaches the gym. Inside, Miss Lee is talking to the students. Gammon sees Han and walks straight up to him and punches him in the face. Miss Lee says she already knew this school. Miss Jonggawa, the teacher who used to teach here, had been trying to change the school. Miss Lee respected her deeply, but one day someone murdered her. And the shocking part, Miss Jonggawa was Park's mother. Hearing this, Park and everyone else are stunned. Miss Lee angrily says, "No matter who I have to fight, I will follow my teacher's path and change this school." The vice principal grabs the mic, and right then Gammon arrives and punches Han. Han kicks him back and it looks like a full fight is about to break out, but at the last moment it stops. A while later, everyone in school talks about the same thing. Gammon is a complete monster. How did he punch Han like that? Meanwhile, Kim's son's friends tell him, "How can you study at a time like this? Han will fire all of us. How will we earn money?" Kim's son stays silent. He doesn't care. Seeing this, one of his friends gets angry and leaves him. On the other side, Han realizes that Miss Lee was Miss Jonggawa's student. That's why she wants to change the school. Han comes up with a new plan. He makes a phone call and says, "For that job, choose Kim's son." Now the scene shifts to Kim's son. He became Han's bodyguard only to earn money for his sick grandfather. He didn't love fighting, he loved studying. Gammon meets him. Kim's son apologizes for the fight. Gammon asks, "Why do you listen to Han? I saw your index cards. You want to study, right?" Kim's son sighs. "Even if I want to study, what difference does it make? I need money. If I stay with Han, I can join YB gang. Then get a job at YB Construction." Suddenly his friend calls, terrified. He says, "Hide. The trainers are coming." And true enough, 2 YB gang men arrive. They tell Kim's son to come with them. Gammon says, "I'll come too." But Kim's son knows there is danger, so he refuses Gamin and leaves with them. Gamin finds it strange. Then he notices Kim's son forgot his phone. Grandpa is calling. Gamin goes to see Grandpa. Despite being old and on his deathbed, he is studying with dedication. He says, when a person stops learning, that's when he truly dies. Gamin helps him. Before he leaves, Grandpa says, if you meet Kim's son, tell him how beautiful studying is. I think you can do it. The next morning, the news reports that a man was murdered at night, and a suspect was recorded on CCTV. People say the suspect looks exactly like Kim's son. Miss Lee and the same detective come to school. The detective asks Gamin, did you meet Kim's son last night? Tell me the truth. What happened? Gamin tells him everything, that they talked about studying and then two YB men took him away. Gamin asks, did Kim's son really commit murder? The detective says, at the moment, he is the prime suspect. Gamin is filled with guilt and panic. He asks his team, do you think Kim's son could do something like this? The team starts researching and discovers something shocking. Since Han came to the school, city crimes have increased. Adult crimes decreased. And high school student crimes increased. This meant YB gang was using minors for crimes, because minors don't get long prison sentences. Later these students could be recruited into the gang. But Ji Woo says, fine, but this still doesn't prove Kim's son didn't kill anyone. They had zero proof. Everyone was sad. Nighttime. Kim's son's friend runs to Gamin. A YB gang member chases him. Gamin knocks the gang member down with one punch. The friend says, I saw it myself. The murder was done by a YB gang man. He was wiping blood off the knife. In the gang it's always like this. The real murderer is a powerful adult, and they frame school kids like us. So the real killer doesn't face a long sentence. Now everything becomes clear to Gamin. Kim's son wanted to study. They're framing him on purpose. The team decides to find the murder knife. Gamin, June, and Ji Woo wear YB gang uniforms and enter the building. These uniforms were taken from the boys they had previously defeated. Hil Par, Sayan and One were monitoring the place with a drone. All three go inside the building. There they find out that all the backup fighters of the YB gang are gathered. Maybe a big meeting is about to happen. On the upper floor, Han is also present. Through the drone camera they see that Han is coming towards them. Everyone hides. Just then, one guy becomes suspicious. He sends the others downstairs and comes up alone to check. Ji Woo laughs and says, he's so stupid. We are downstairs. But when she looks back, Gamin is gone. He was hiding upstairs. After that man leaves, Gamin comes down, but the door is already locked. On the other side, Kim's son sits alone, sad. At the same time, Han enters the meeting, a new member of the YB family. Kim's son. Han gives him a lot of money and says, this will pay for your grandfather's treatment. But on Kim's son's face, it was clear. He didn't want to suffer punishment for a crime he didn't even commit. Meanwhile, Gamin is now stuck on the roof. Downstairs, that same guy comes in front of June and Jaiwoo, the one they had beaten earlier. June gets ready to fight, and Jaiwoo runs upstairs to find a knife. At the same time, Sian and One see that detective has come here looking for Kim's son. Hearing this, Gamin tries to break the door. That guy is beating June badly. Inside the room, Jaiwoo searches for the knife, and finally finds it. She keeps it with her. Suddenly, another man enters. Jaiwoo hides, but he sees her. Meanwhile, the detective comes in, and Kim's son confesses in front of him. Yes, I am the one who killed that man. At the hospital, Kim's son's two friends were taking care of his grandfather. They hadn't told him anything about the case yet, but now they also get angry and leave to save Kim's son. Here June is still fighting that man. Because of the knife, that man is overpowering June. Jaiwoo escapes from the first man, but another man appears in front of her. Jaiwoo lifts him and throws him to the ground, but the second man grabs her. Jaiwoo tries to fight, but he makes her unconscious. Meanwhile, Gamin receives a call from Miss Lee. How is the exam preparation going? The practice sheet I gave you might have an error. Check it and let me know. Gamin doesn't tell her that he is stuck on the roof. He opens his bag, but his notebook falls down and hits the head of the real murderer. The man picks up the notebook and leaves. Gammon also sees that two men are putting Jaiwoo into a car and taking her away. Gammon starts breaking the walls. Meanwhile, Seon and Won's drone is also broken by Hwon. Now they understand that everyone is in danger. They also rush to save them. The man puts Jaiwoo in the car and says, "Send the backup fighters to their house." Just when he is about to leave, Kim's son arrives. After questioning, the detective understood that Kim's son is not the killer. So Kim's son ran here to save Jaiwoo. But the man was very strong. Then Kim's son's two friends arrive. All three fight him together. Jaiwoo regains consciousness. She picks up the knife again, but sees that the man is still overpowering all three of them. The man says, "If you had taken the blame for the murder, your life would have been easier." Hearing this, Jaiwoo gets very angry and joins the fight. On the other side, Jun stops the knife with his hand and breaks it. Then he beats the guy so badly that he flies back and dies. But the other man is still not defeated, even against three people. Gammon arrives. He had broken the door with a kick. Jaiwoo says, "He has the knife with the evidence." Gammon pushes him away with a nunchaku and picks up the knife. But the man knocks Gammon down, thinking he has won. Gammon smiles and says, "I was just playing till now." Then he gets serious and uses his master special technique, the 0-inch punch. The man flies in the air and crashes into the car. And his game is over. Gammon goes to Kim's son and says, "Come on, study with me now." Kim's son agrees. Suddenly, that man stands up again and tries to pick up the knife. Jaiwoo kicks him, picks up the knife, and while she shouts, Seon and Won also arrive. Everyone starts laughing. Then Gammon remembers that the murderer took his notebook. Meanwhile, the detective stops that man on the road. The man is extremely dangerous and attacks the detective, but Gammon arrives, knocks him unconscious and says, "I only came to take my notebook." Everything becomes normal. Everyone studies and gives their midterms. The results come, all ranks improve. Gammon's rank goes from 219 to 209. Seon reaches first place and Miss Lee proudly says, "I have passed my test." Now the teachers are forced to call a discipline committee meeting against Han. The head of the education department also has to sign the petition. A notice is posted on the board. And Han is ordered to come to school on foot, not in his car. Jaiwoo stops him and makes fun of him. But after some time, Han starts another war in the whole school. Students begin fighting each other again. Here we see a flashback from 1 year ago, when Miss Younghwa had also scheduled a committee meeting against Han. When Han's dad found out, Han said, "Don't worry, I will handle everything." One day before the meeting, Han had Miss Younghwa murdered. After that, Han launched a fighting app in the school. Whoever had the highest rank could join the YB gang. That's why the entire school went crazy over fighting. But now Miss Lee has come to stop Han, walking on Miss Young's path. And this time, Gammon is with her. In the present, all students are talking that the school is changing. There is less fighting. Students are focusing on studies in classrooms. Seon says, "This all happened because of Miss Lee and Gammon." Miss Lee is going somewhere. Suddenly someone comes in front of her. She gets scared. It is Park. Park says, "Don't conduct the committee meeting. There is no such thing as justice in this world." Then he says, "My mother did the same thing. Then she was murdered. The man who stabbed her was from the YB gang. That means Han was the one who had her killed." Meanwhile, the vice principal goes to Han's dad to apologize. The education head has signed the petition. Now the meeting cannot be stopped. Han arrives there. He is not worried at all, like he already has a plan. The next day, videos of Gammon and his friends fighting at YB Construction are shown on the news. They are shown as if they are gangsters who entered a building and fought. Media reporters start chasing them. The vice principal gets an excuse. "I will get the study group members expelled." He tells Miss Lee, "Cancel Han's meeting or I will expel your students." Miss Lee becomes worried. She calls Gammon and everyone. "The detective told me everything. You all only went to save Kim Sunday. But the news made you look like gangsters. Stay away from fighting for some time. I will handle the rest." Everyone agrees. But while leaving, they see that Han has started another war in the school. On TV, Han himself watches all this. A boy throws milk on Seon, so that Seon fights him and raises his rank. Seon gets upset and walks away. Gammon goes to him. Cian is heartbroken. Everything was getting better. Why did this happen again? Then Cian gets a call and runs away quickly. Gamin also gets a message. He goes to the study group room, where Han and Hwan are sitting. Han says, "No matter how hard you try, you cannot change the school. I can give the kids what they want." Hwan also says, "Cancel the meeting. Only then will I let you study." They leave. Then members of the discipline committee arrive and start breaking the study group room. "You are disqualified from the club for some time. You cannot stay in this room anymore." They break everything in front of them. Gamin cannot fight, because he promised Miss Lee that he would stay away from fighting for a while. Meanwhile, Cian goes to a construction site. His dad is arguing with a man because he called Cian a gangster after watching the news. Cian's dad fights for him, then scolds him and says, "I worry about you." Cian gets upset and says, "I will leave school. From tomorrow I will come to work." He leaves. Gamin hears everything from a distance. Girls also insult Jaiwoo and One screams and chases them away. But then her parents arrive and take her with them. Junbai tries to contact everyone in the chat, but no one replies. Gamin sits helpless, thinking. Then sees that Cian has left the group. The study group starts to fall apart. Gamin remembers all the good old moments. Miss Lee is looking at the committee documents. She tried everything. But she cannot remove the false accusations on Gamin and the others. And if a committee meeting is held on the study group, they will be expelled. To save Gamin, Miss Lee starts deleting the documents against Han, but then she stops. At that moment, Gamin comes back to the study room. He still doesn't lose hope. He starts fixing the broken room. Miss Lee arrives too, and both of them clean the room together. The next morning, when Cian is going to work at the construction site, Gamin goes to him. Cian is working in place of his father. Gamin helps him and says, "I will study with you. We will go to college together." Hearing that he can go back to college with Gamin brings happiness back to Cian's face. He realizes that Gamin truly cares about him. He agrees and goes to his father saying, "Dad, you worked so hard to raise me. Today I understand everything. I am thankful to you, but I sincerely want to study. Just give me 3 more years. I promise you will never regret it." His dad becomes emotional and allows him to continue his studies. Gamin says, "Don't worry, uncle. One day, Cian will build a building like this for you himself." After this, both of them go to One's mom and dad. They request them not to transfer One and explain everything about their study group. They succeed in convincing One's parents. Then the 3 of them go to Jaiwoo, who is working in a store now. After explaining for a while, they also convince her to return to school. Gamin is watching secretly, and finally realizes that the study group has united again. In this way, the whole group gathers again. Meanwhile, Miss Lee tells the vice principal directly, "I will not cancel Han's meeting, and I will not let the study group be framed like this." Now, study group members begin coming to school again. Then Kim's son comes and explains that last year, when Miss Younghwa had scheduled the committee meeting against Han, she was murdered the night before the meeting. Everyone in the school knew inside that Han had ordered her murder, because this school was not a school for Han. It was his kingdom. If the meeting was held, Han would have been expelled. Everyone realizes that Miss Lee's life is also in danger now. So the study group decides that until the meeting happens, they will protect Miss Lee. Meanwhile, the detective also warns Miss Lee, "Leave the city until the meeting. I will try to protect you, but I cannot be with you everywhere. No one knows what Han might do." But Miss Lee refuses. "If I run away, the students will lose hope. We also need to clear the false accusations against them. So I will not go anywhere." That night, the night before the meeting, Miss Lee gets a call from the vice principal. He says, "The meeting will definitely happen tomorrow. So I need to tell you something about YB construction." He calls Miss Lee to the school. Miss Lee goes to the school, but she calls the detective first. The detective stops her. "Don't go inside. It could be dangerous." But Miss Lee says, "This is our opportunity." She goes inside the school and reaches a room where the vice principal is waiting for her. Miss Lee starts recording his words. The vice principal begins revealing all the dark secrets of the YB gang and Han. Suddenly, all the lights in the school go off. The vice principal runs away. The detective notices this from outside. Suddenly, Han's men appear in front of Miss Lee. Miss Lee also records their words. Hwan snatches her phone, but Miss Lee is wearing the recording badge that the detective gave her. The recording is still going on. The detective had said, "If you don't come out in 30 minutes, I will come to save you." He tries to enter, but a corrupt police officer from the station knocks the detective unconscious to protect Han. Meanwhile, Han's men move toward Miss Lee to kill her. Suddenly, Miss Lee's recorded voice echoes through the school speakers. "Now all of you will die." And at that moment, Gammon arrives at the school with the entire team. Kim Sun is with them too. In reality, they had already made a plan to watch Miss Lee 24 hours. That's why they followed her all the way and reached the school tonight. Gammon says, "Jay, take Miss Lee. I trust you." Then he starts beating all the goons. Jay and the others run with Miss Lee. Except for Han, everyone starts chasing them. On the way, Jae-woo and Kim Sun stay to fight two attackers. Downstairs, Seon stands in front of Hwan. Seon says, "You all go. I will stop him." Jay takes Miss Lee downstairs while running, but he comes face to face with someone he never expected. It was his old friend Antai, the same friend who had now joined Han's gang. Upstairs, Han and Gammon's fight begins. Both of them punch each other brutally. Even the windows shatter. Antai starts beating Jay very badly. Hwan fires a gunshot at Seon. Seon runs to hide inside the library, but Hwan chases him and fires another bullet that grazes Seon's arm. Seon keeps running, trying to survive. Somewhere else, a big muscular guy is lifting Jae-woo and throwing her to the ground. Kim Sun and Jae-woo are both getting beaten up badly. Han and Gammon's fight becomes even more dangerous. Han says, "I haven't enjoyed a fight like this in a very long time." But Gammon is extremely angry because his friends are being beaten everywhere. Now he fights seriously, but Han grabs him easily and throws him far away. Downstairs, Miss Lee tries to find the exit of the building, but she can't find a way out. Meanwhile, Jay remembers his good old memories with Antai. But Antai had completely changed because of Han. He starts attacking Jay with a knife. Kim Sun and Jae-woo keep fighting their opponents as well. Jae-woo gives a powerful kick and knocks down the guy who was beating Kim Sun. And then Kim Sun also starts beating the big guy. Both of them fight together and slowly the situation starts turning in their favor. Hwan's gun runs out of bullets, and Seon comes out to fight him hand to hand. Miss Lee breaks a window and runs outside. Meanwhile, Jay realizes that Antai is no longer the friend he once knew. Jay fights back with full strength and knocks Antai unconscious. Kim Sun and Jae-woo also manage to defeat both of their attackers. Seon is fighting Hwan. After meeting Gammon's mom, Seon had learned taekwondo training from her so he could help Gammon. Now that training works, Seon protects himself and beats Hwan so badly that Hwan is completely finished. Han and Gammon are still fighting intensely. Both of them crash through a wall and fall inside a classroom. Han says, "I know you're not using your full power. If you're thinking you'll keep me busy here while Miss Lee escapes, you're wrong." Gammon gets shocked. "What did you do?" Miss Lee was running, but Han had called backup fighters from YB Gang, and they were coming to kill her. To save Miss Lee, Gammon starts beating Han with everything he has. He even uses his special technique, the 0-inch punch. But Han takes the impact and punches Gammon again and again, knocking him down. Han says, "What do you think? Even if I disappear, will Yu Sung Hai become better? Never. Whether I am here or not, this school will never change." After hearing this, Gammon gets even angrier. He throws punches with full power and finally defeats Han. Gammon tries to run to save Miss Lee, but after using all his strength, he collapses unconscious. Meanwhile, fighters are surrounding Miss Lee. It looks like everything is finished, but at that moment one shows up. She had asked Jean for help, because Miss Lee once saved her from Jin's knife. Then all the students whom Gammon had helped and befriended before also arrive, and together they rescue Miss Lee. Next morning, a discipline committee meeting is held against Han, and he is permanently expelled from the school. Han starts walking away in anger, but Miss Lee says, "Think about what you've done." Han remembers Miss Young-hwa saying the same thing to him. Now he finally realizes his mistakes. The detective arrives, and because of Miss Lee's recorded audio evidence, Han is arrested. While being taken away, Park watches silently. Han stops and says to Gammon, "Keep trying to change the school." From his face, it looks like he truly regrets everything. The vice principal is also fired and the police take him away. After that, the study group is formed again. The false accusations of being gangsters are proven wrong. Han's father, the boss of YB Construction, learns the entire truth. The committee removes the fighting app from every student's phone. Jaiwoo's brother, Yenwoo, is released from jail. Miss Lee visits her teacher, Miss Younghwa's grave. Park receives an offer from the YB gang, and he immediately decides to join them. Meanwhile, the study group returns to their normal life and daily activities. And just like that, Season 1 comes to an end. After every challenge, after every enemy, the study group still stands strong. Gammon and his friends have proven that with courage and unity, any force can be defeated. If you want to see this story take even more thrilling turns, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss the next battle.